All right, so we're back to another Dragon Ball Super card game video. This one, I'm not alone. As you can see, we're looking at a deck, and it's a Janemba deck. But before I do that, why don't you say hi? What's up?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
What is your name?
My name is Alexis Mendez, and I'm sometimes known by Lex, sometimes known by Alexis, whichever one's fine.
Tight. Well, you were previously on the channel before, right? In person, not over the mic. Unfortunately, we couldn't get one in person. I would have loved to do it, but just the stars didn't align for us.
Yeah, I know.
But it's okay. And I'll put a thumbnail or whatever image from the last one. I think you were playing Blue-Yellow Janemba before, right?
Yes, Blue-Yellow before set 7, so it was basically all we had was expansions, which meaning would be the Bojacks.
Oh yeah,
and the Bojack Negate, and that was about it. Still no like beers or that cold bloodless type of card, nothing like that. So
right. That was right before set 7 dropped. I remember that.
Yeah. So I was trying to be innovative with Janemba, and it sort of worked out. I got top 8 at Pasadena, so try to do the same thing this time, but it didn't quite work.
Okay,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. I think this is the best version of Janemba, if not one of the best versions. That is just me. It's just a subjective thing. It was red blue Janemba or Demigra for me taking it to Nats. Our teammates played it, and it looks like you played a version of it. So why this deck? Why did you go ahead and pick this?
Okay, so actually, if we were to do this in person, I would probably show you everything I brought to Nats, which is just like one of those draft boxes.
Oh, okay.
With 2 decks inside. Well, technically 3 decks inside. One is the Blue-Yellow Janemba that everyone sort of was running. I didn't really like the tricolor, so I didn't take any green stuff, but I had it just in case.
Okay.
I also had a Baby and Pan, because I was saying for the longest I said I'm gonna play Pan.
Okay.
I'm gonna play Pan. I'm gonna play Pan. And everybody knows me. She is great. That's the thing about it. But the thing is, like, I think Pan is one of the decks that rewards like dedication and good plays with it. Which I didn't have that much dedication, and I would just like go along, and nobody's a natural talent, so nobody knows what to do on the fly. And I had a couple playtesting with them. Well, with Baby, I played Baby, but never competitively. However, all it took me to say, okay, this is the deck I'm taking, or this is not the deck I'm taking, was just opening hands. How many times can you actually open up the ape without like turn 2? And I realized it's not the best.
Right. Yeah.
Then back to Pan. I'll win some matches, lose some matches, so it just didn't feel right to me. I wanted a deck that I could consistently use. And I built Janemba, honestly, on the night before the event, like probably at 2 a.m. I was cracking my head up at my hotel room. I didn't know what to play. My girlfriend was tired of me just listening to me like, oh, I don't know what to play. I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
And then I said, like, why not just do a red version? Like, take the best out of Pan or sort of the best out of red and just try to incorporate it. So something like a pointer that you can see, and by the way, exactly what I just told you. Just looking at the deck, it looks pretty bad.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I think it's good enough. I've seen some messy decks. Like no offense to him, but Pan O'Neill's deck looks crazy. Like it just looks all over the place, but it actually works and it makes sense, right? This one, I think it makes sense. I think it does. Yeah,
sort of weird too. But the best thing, or the number one thing that I was looking for, if you look at all the red cards, to play them, you only need 1 red. So it sort of took the same premise of the tricolor Janemba, where you only charge 1 green, and that's about it. Same thing here. You only need 1 red, and everything else is combo power or for the Arrival. Even though I didn't really think the Arrival was extremely that good, I gotta admit it overperformed. So
it is amazing, man, especially in this deck, definitely.
Yeah, and last thing, this deck can put up a fight with Shenron, which previous versions of Janemba they don't. So that was one of the main thoughts about putting red in it.
Okay.
And yeah,
for sure. All right. Well, let's kind of go through the deck then. So the whole premise is just sort of to combine the red and the blue, and as well as all the Janemba mill along with it. So so we have the Trunkses, right, for aggression. Same thing for Kaba, and the same thing for Digging Deep. So if we had to kind of group them together, these are sort of like the more aggressive cards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that go? How did all this go?
All right, so I pretty much started with I actually started with 4 Trunks and 2 Kavas. Again, I feel I feel sort of bad saying this, like sort of ashamed of myself, but I actually had no playtesting with this deck whatsoever, and I just came up with a 3-3 split because I just told myself maybe this can work, because not all the time I want them to take life. And think about it, early pressure with Trunks is really, really good, since they probably will just say like, oh, whatever, I'll take it. But that's one less card they draw if I'm playing against a Broly. So that's, like, it's sort of that mentality was what it made me wanna include 3 of him. However, it was a little too much. I used it only in certain matchups and in certain times that I forcefully wanted them to commit either to take the 2 damage or to waste their hand, like sort of trying to go for game pretty much kind of type of card,
right?
Or just putting them for example from 3 to 1 by comboing on double strike Champa and just like comboing a lot of other stuff. Yeah. And then just finish them off with a Saiyan Kaba. Now, Kaba overperformed. He finished so many games. Just so many games. Nobody's expecting him at 7, like, less than Janemba. So, I'm definitely... A 4th one instead of a 3rd Trunks would be something good.
Okay. I think I do agree with that, definitely. How about the Digging Deep, Champa, all the other stuff?
Okay. So, the Digging Deep, I didn't really use him as much other than one Shenron matchup that I had. Obviously, on that Shenron matchup, he was the MVP. However, in everything else, he was just a charge. Particularly because I played a lot of Broly's. So, tapping 3 for 1 card that, won't do as much. So, number 1, Broly's going to awaken you. So, you don't really need any self-awakening unless you don't want them to put you from, like, awkward numbers from, like, 5 to 3. So, you want to use one of your cards so you can have control of that. But he was a good charge. I really like him in the main deck because if I face Shenron, I wanted to have an answer on the spot. Like, I'd rather have my first game, I'd rather try and do as much as possible as win it. And then second game, third game, still be a toss-up. But yeah. I think Champa, moving on to Champa, he's a staple in Janemba. Janemba has really high combo power, so if you just flip it to swing for lethal, like it's rare, like someone that can sort of out combo Janemba once they're going for lethal. So, and just like the inclusion of 2, there was arguments to play a 3rd one. Arguments in my head, I guess. because
I was like, who argued with you?
Yeah, no. So. Just pretty much because none of my battle cards actually have double strike aside from Saiyan Kaba. So, if I'll have the Childish and then just bring for 1 any other Janembas, or just play in the Reality Vendor for 1 and just throw in a double strike Champa, that's really good. It's a crit attack that it's just like there's nothing your opponent can actually benefit from. So he was really good. However, I didn't want a lot of 10k combos. So that was the only thing why I didn't play a 3rd one. 2 was perfectly fine. I wouldn't move it from that.
Right.
Now, if we go to our package, that's definitely the MVP of the whole days. Those 3 cards, those 3 other cards.
Right.
The Topo,
yeah.
The Unbreakable, and the Hercule and Boo. So these 3 cards itself. And I sort of want to emphasize a lot on Unbreakable just because it's so in any other Janemba build, such as the blue-yellow, you have to combo a card that doesn't really benefit you from comboing anything, such as like the Bojack Negate that's just like a 5k and then you combo a blue card. However, in this one, you actually draw a card, so you replace whatever you do, and that itself like will enable a rival, of course, like comboing a blue card, such as like an Unyielding, for example. And then Hercule is he does too much. So he
Right.
draws you a card. He minuses 10. Some things I'll rival 2 of them, so I can completely KO their ape. I can completely KO whatever they're swinging at me, and then you can return a red or blue card, which the best target for that was Topo.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have. That's why I didn't play 4. I just played 3 because there was a lot of recursions with this other card with the Hurricane Boo.
Right.
And I just have it in my hand, and you know Topo, like everyone's talking about him because he's that broken. Like
he is very good. He is a $10 uncommon. So
Yeah.
like, that should speak some volumes.
That's true. He's like a skip a turn. Nobody wants to attack afterwards, and you know the good thing about being Janemba is that you play so many. Well, at least the version that I played so many negates that even if they wanted to do something else, I can just negate it and you still lose 2 cards. So, he was like broken. Honestly, if I did this well against Broly was because of Topo.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like an inclusion of him was just really, really good.
Right. So I mean, this whole thing and really just all of this is really good because if you're talking about recursion, then you can recur, you know, the Trunkses and the Combos as well with a Boo. And as well as like if you swing with the Topo and then you Hercule Buell after that for aggression, you can return it for a negate at the end of the turn, and then you know have it ready for their turn after, basically. So I mean, I think this is a really broken combo. I mean, and Janemba is just crazy. So that's really good. And we have all of the pretty much the standard blue stuff, right? The Dimension Magic, in which can untap the multicolor, which is pretty awesome. Super combos, 2 Mafuba. We'll get right back to that one. Unyielding, Bean, Childish Wish, Undying Spirit. And then Overwhelm Bardock, which is really good. So what I have questions on is how well Mafuba was, and how well did the Gohan do as far as that go, or as far as this goes.
That's something that I think it was really interesting. Again, since at least really interesting to discover as I more played the deck. So definitely, like if on hindsight, I wouldn't play the Unyielding again, the Undying. Sorry. Mainly because since I only have 1 dual color card. And you don't really, it doesn't get any benefit from like comboing, from having it on the charge. So technically, you don't need to charge the dual color card. So that in that scenario, then Undying definitely didn't perform as well. So he wasn't good. I actually never used him other than I think only once when I didn't want a Khalifa to come in and just tap my whole energy. So he didn't do well. That's for sure. Like the card that I saw in my opening hand and I'll charge, and the card that I will side all the time.
What would you change it as far as the main?
That's actually a really good question because I don't know.
I mean, you could do. I mean, you could up the red package. You could add in some negates. Like in our version, we had the Vidal negate. Or the Boo negate. You could main Desperate Measures, maybe that sort of thing. I don't know. You have choices, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But it was really important that it was a color. Because I did think about one of our, like, if you go to the side, any of the cards of the side were really good to be main deck worthy. Even Desperate Measures, I think is that card is really, really good.
Yeah.
However, I just at this moment I still wouldn't know. So
okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure someone can take the deck, or anybody who's going to be trying to play this or a version of this can let us know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. And then the standard sort of Janemba package. Would you change any of that?
That I don't know. It's like really useful for it to be a color, and I did use it on Contrary and Popular Relief. I used it in every matchup except probably I play some mirrors, so I didn't really use them in the mirrors because any Janemba will die to any sort of counterplay they had. However, it's really good option to have since you mail. I want to say sort of actively instead of defensively, which is the contrast to the blue-yellow. You know how all those Bojack negates, well, somebody has to attack so you can so they can actually do something.
Right.
So I mean, if you play against Shenron, your best option is actually to go to mill them. Because number one, when they play Janemba, they always keep like 3 balls in hand, so they're gonna be awakened by turn 2, and like your leader swings are not gonna do anything to them. Well, I'm talking about like a more traditional type of Janemba build. However, when you have the Childish, it's really good to number one, apply more aggro, clear boards, and most importantly, mail proactively. So you don't really depend on what your opponent is doing, so you can drop any of the Janembas.
Right.
Demon Sword was the weakest one throughout the whole weekend, just because if you don't bring him out for 1, you're not paying 4 for him. You know, you're not tapping out 4 energies for something that can die to any sort of counterplay. So
right.
That was one of my main issues with him. However, he is a cutter, so that's one of the reasons why I had to. Hindsight, I'll probably just use 1 just for the if ever comes that I need him. But yeah, overall, I'm a really big fan. However, I did play 2 mirror matches, and they did not excel at all. So that's like one of my main. I don't know, but those 2 matches we can talk about them later. Why I felt like I did really bad.
For sure, we'll come back to that. So the side deck, I think these are pretty standard, right? As far as Shenron, aggro, those type of things. We already kind of talked about Desperate Measures, how good it is. You wide open, Gauntlet Gun, and Remote Serious Bomb. How about those?
All right, so you're wide open. Complete mistake. I never used it.
All right, moving on. We're taking that one out.
But yeah, nothing to say about it. Now, the Gauntlet Cannon was just, again, I was theorizing how can I actually make the Towa matchup or the Demigra matchup, because I was aware that the Demigra was going to be good. But the thing is, like, those two decks died off our mill effect because they inherently need to mill so they can actually, do something, do like sort of big plays.
Yeah.
So if they don't want to die, they're for sure gonna go for the what is that championship Vegeta called? Time regulator.
Yeah.
They're gonna go for the time regulator. However, I thought about putting the Sun Goten. The one that you combo and you just pop a 3 or less.
Yes.
Which would have been good. However, the time regulator will stick for 1 turn. And with Gauntlet Cannon, they drop it, it dies right away.
Right.
So they don't get to recur any resources, and they tap 2 energies. And now I try to do as much damage as possible on the clapback. So
right.
That was the main idea of it. And also against Pan or any red decks, I thought it would have been really good. However, I did not play any.
Oh.
So that was that.
Right.
Kami always went in against any Broly type of deck. Remote Serious Bomb always went in against any Broly type of deck. I think that package was perfect. Like, Broly was not an issue. Like, not an issue whatsoever. And what I like to do is just, if I had a Topo, so he's a 20k, he can swing at anything pretty much at this meta. So I'll swing to an ape. They'll most likely do their combo, whatever. They have 2 energy. They'll drop another ape. Like, you don't really mind. Then you get them with the Remote Serious Bomb. So they wasted cards off their hand, and they're warping a monkey.
Right.
So I thought that was really good value. Just 1 energy. And Kami is just, if they overextend and they don't respect it, you get them. And, right. Kami does his thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then, and the anti-Shenron package was just the Dark Power Black Massey and the Force Ejection Massey.
Makes sense.
On hindsight, I probably would put a Dende, because think about it. If you go first against a Shenron, which was what one of my friends did wrong, then they can actually pop. Dende doesn't care when they did like an objection or a wheeze. However, if they're going second, they can still do an objection on turn 2, and you're gonna charge turn 3, and you both are gonna have 3 energy. So that's sort of, I don't know if that makes sense. Why it's probably not as good. Like, a good Shenron player, I don't think like on games 2 or 3, they won't go out of their way to charge 3 energies in one turn.
Right. Exactly. No, you're right on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk matchups, and we can wrap this up.
All right. So I actually got all my opponents' names.
Okay.
All right. Out of respect, they were really good people. I actually enjoyed all my matchups.
That's good.
All right. So first one against Cade. Cade was using a red, yellow apes.
Okay.
I got that at 2-0. He didn't know what the deck did, and he died off Kava both games. So that was, that was just like, I thought Broly. I don't want to be the guy who's like talking crap about the decks, but I thought Broly was gonna do more. You see along these matchups, because that one was easy. I just felt like you sort of have control on when you awaken, so you don't really take those double strikes. And plus the negate, Top was just way too broken against any Broly type of deck.
Right. Okay.
So then I played against Suhair. I don't know if I'm butchering his name.
I think you got it right.
Yeah, from KTM.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing player. And I 2-0'd him too. He was playing Broly U6. Broly U6 is arguably harder just because of that tapping energy. So all the time he was going for my red energy just to not have to deal with Topo. But then like Mafuba came in, and then Dimension Magic is just way too broken. Like being able, they'll tap my in this case, in this matchup I did charge a multicolor.
Mm-hmm.
In every other matchup I didn't. Just because if they'll tap it, I would just like try to untap it as much as possible with Dimension Magic.
Okay.
So it was just like sequencing. Like I gotta say that I was really good sequencing all their attacks. So
right.
And then I played against Tev. He was playing Broly, green, yellow.
Okay.
It was an interesting deck. He was playing sort of like a hand control-ish deck with a new dual color 18 and 18 and Krillin.
Yeah.
And plus other Brolys.
Mm-hmm.
I felt he was setting up for the Broly SCR, yet he wasn't aware that my deck didn't really depend on him for Awaken. So I remember he looked at me at one. Oh, by the way, big shout out to him. I'll tell you right now why. He looked at my hand and he's like, "Oh man, like, how come you're not dying to hand control?"
Right.
And it's like, well, it's red. Red has never had a problem with hand control. So I felt really comfortable in that matchup, and I got a 2-0 too. So
okay.
I at this point I'm feeling like golden. I'm feeling
pretty
Broly,
good.
no Broly can touch me.
Okay, but what happened though?
Oh my god, no. I don't want to talk.
What? So that's, what is that, 3 or 4?
I'm 3-0 by now.
Okay,
yeah.
so what's the fourth one? What happened?
Okay, so the first one is against Bradul. He was playing green Broly, and I don't know how I felt about this matchup, because it's one of those matchups that if they go off, and you're dead.
Yeah.
However, I think he didn't really know what the new cards did, and he misplayed trying to set up for the SCR, attacking with something that wasn't a Broly.
Right.
And like you can't really do Topo on any of the Brolys, or just the 6 and the 8, because you can't. I think
you can't activate two or more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if he would attack with any other card, he's pretty much like that, because he left the Secret Rare on his hand and another card, and he has an attack with Leader, and he attacked with one of the Paragus just to combo a super combo. And then I negated it with Topo, and then he tried to attack with the Leader, and I told him about, whoa, if you attack, you're going to lose your 2 cards. And I mean, you will drop to 6, and I'm pretty sure you got the SCR, so you don't want to do that. And he called a judge, and he called a judge because he wasn't aware of what Topo did. Right. And he said like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's true. So I actually, like, say Kaba sort of kills that deck. You sort of bait out everything with it, and so I got that one 2-0 too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm 4-0 by now. I was feeling,
all right, okay, but what's happening here? I feel like something's coming up here. What's that 5th round?
Whoa,
you said you play some mirrors.
I played against Zehan, and
okay.
Yeah,
So we can move
shout
on.
out-
We can move
yeah,
on. So we
shout
can.
out to him.
What's
No,
the next round?
So his deck didn't. His deck was most toward like his deck was just beats red or any sort of aggro deck because they have so many negates. They have the Bojacks,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do any. Like I just saw myself like milling. And plus something really important against like him and against the other Janemba that I played. I played into other counterplays. It's like I didn't even knew what Janemba did. It's like I
What
felt
happened?
such. I played into Vegeta the Cruel. I played into the Cold Bloodless type of thing where Frost Deadly Poison.
Frost. Mm-hmm.
I over combo and then they milled me during half combo. You know, those type of mistakes that, you know, as a Janemba player you should be more aware. But I felt like completely brain farted. I don't. It was weird. It was weird. So he 2-0'd me, and that itself was like, okay. I mean, it is what it is. I'm still 4-1. Like, if I dodge mirrors, apparently I can probably win.
But did you play a mirror right after that?
Not right after. Actually,
okay.
I played against another Broly. So, you know, Broly's like my confidence boost. This one was...
Okay, but did you 2-0 him then?
Yeah, it was the same
okay,
Broly.
all right then.
I'm telling you, like, my deck was broken. And at this point, I realized this is the perfect anti-ape deck. Like,
It is 100%. It is, man. It's crazy.
yeah, I don't know. It was like broken. Topo in blue is probably one of the better versions to play. Just because if they negate it either way, like they can do whatever you want. Denial of hope. They can, you know, you can still like dimension magic untap again. Particularly your dual color on those type of like if you're playing against something that you know they can interrupt the Topo either by Cold Bloodlusting or Denial, Desperate Masters, whatever you like.
Yeah.
You just untap the dual color, you do charges with it, and then you just play it again. So it's not, I don't know, it's not like, I don't know, it's pretty broken.
It is. So okay, so you 2-0 the Broly, and then you played a mirror.
Broly saves, and then I played Pat. Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another of my losses. I played the mirror again.
But his is like, it is pretty much the mirror because he is playing Topo, but he is also playing the blue-yellow stuff too.
Yeah, but he's playing like, I think he was playing like 10 red cards only, like Saiyan Kaba, Unbreakables, and the Topo.
Right.
But everything else was just a standard blue-yellow Janemba.
Interesting.
And again, there's a lot of times that I felt like I was good. I was gonna go for game. He milled me without even oh my god, I'm telling you, I feel like a complete noob, you know.
You could have won Nats, man.
I know. I always like shout out to Ryan. Obviously, he's from the West Coast. He's one of my best friends.
That dude's crazy.
But I will tell him I would have won.
Yeah,
I would have won.
All right then. All right.
But yeah, like this. You know, I feel like I'm a really aware player of what that's the benefit of Janemba. Like you're seeing their guys' deck. Like turn 4, you saw 8 cards they have. You can sort of assume what else they have.
Right.
Obviously they play cards, so you can count like, okay, he has 1 super combo left in hand, probably negates, blah blah blah. You can go for game, and that's something I did not do at all against like Pat. And one of the most it feels bad, but you know, Pat is a really nice guy. And I think he didn't know who I was at this point until I told him like, oh yeah, last year I was one of the fallen Janemba brothers, because I think there was 5 of us who topped 32, and then we all fell down from top 32. We just got paired with our worst matchup. Everyone got an Android. Everyone got like hand control. It's like, okay, we die, I guess.
Rough.
And he was like, oh yeah, no, I remember you now. And so it was pretty cool.
That's good.
But what I didn't do is just count how many Bojacks he had left, and I just like swang for life, swang for lethal, left 1 card in my deck.
And you got Bojacks.
Yeah, combo yellow, combo blue, arrival, mill your last card.
Rough.
And game 2, okay, so something I don't know if you noticed in my deck, I have nothing for Janemba, which will be the Vegeta the Cruel, and Daehan did use Vegeta the Cruel. Pat used the Vegeta the Cruel, Not Vegeta Kuro. I'm sorry. The other Vegeta. Vegeta
counter.
Yeah, counter. Yeah.
Making an entrance. Yep.
Vegeta making an entrance. Yeah. And honestly, it really on games 2 or 3, I could set up better for a Childish. However, in any counter, those 3 cards they got back from their deck were essential. So yeah, I underestimated my own deck. So that was my main mistake of this whole event. Besides not playtesting, obviously, but that was like my main mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you knew it well enough. And as we close in on the 30-minute mark, I would say it's okay. I love hearing about this. But the other part of it is, I think you did really well for a deck that you kind of just made up and had a concept of, and it's Janemba, so you kind of knew what you were doing anyway.
Yeah.
I think overall it looks really good. Do you have any shoutouts or anything else before we close out?
Yeah, super mega quick. All right, so also super quick. I know we already said it, but round 8 I actually faced against a Shenron. Richie Cox, shout out to him too. He wasn't aware of what my deck did, and I actually got both games 2-0'd him by pretty much killing him with all the red aggro stuff. So that was pretty good. Right. But just now to close up with all the shoutouts, definitely shout out to Eric. I was rooting for him like a fangirl behind the screen.
Eric who?
Because Eric Ramirez.
Yeah. He's a local, so.
Yeah, he's a local now. He used to be a local for me.
In San Diego, right?
Yeah, my locals were broken because we had Eric Ramirez top 8, Mikael Grant, shout out to him. He did really well. He got top 16. Anthony Alvarez just did his deck profile. He's from my locals too. So
cool.
Shout out to him. Now something really, really interesting. Shout out to Pat and Dayhan particularly. Because I told my girlfriend, if I win Nats, I'm proposing. So,
okay.
so I don't have to deal with that.
That's good. That's good.
Shout out to Jonathan Rodriguez from PPG. He helped me a lot on the side deck, like on the fly. And Eric Christensen, also from PPG, for providing me his weird ideas of decks that they work for him. I don't know. Right. And AJ from also our locals. He's a pretty good player. He won an ass. He stepped it up. He didn't do as he wanted, but he did really well. So shout out to him. And overall, all the San Diego crew and everyone else, like our community is great. So why not? Shout out to everyone in our community.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. All right then. That is it for this one. If there's anything else, please put a comment below. I'm sure he will respond to it. And yeah, thank you again. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right.
Later.